Hello everyone. Today I will be speaking about the offenses against marriage, and this is specifically about India. I would like to brief to each and everyone about the laws in India which is related to the offenses against marriage. And these offenses against marriage are in the Indian Penal Code 1860. Okay, it's a general penal code which applies to whole of India, and it's covering up every kind of criminal offenses that can happen in the country. So there is a section in the Indian Penal Code which specifically talks only about the offenses which goes against a marriage. Okay, so I will be briefing to you all each and every sections that we have into it. Let's start. It starts from section 493 to 498A. So 493 is talking about mock marriages. Now what all is needed to constitute a mock marriage? What is the meaning of mock marriage? Mock marriage means a man who has not married a woman legally, but he has made her believe that he has married her legally. And the reason for this is because he wants to establish a sexual intercourse with a woman. So now, because he cannot establish it without a marriage, so what he does is he makes the woman believe that she is legally married to him, and now with that belief, with that intention, his mens rea and his actus rea, that means his guilty mind and his intention is together to have sexual intercourse with that woman. Now that when he does it, he constitutes an offense of a mock marriage. Now this is specifically only talking about a man. Okay, a woman has not done this. A man, when he does it to a woman. So what are the punishments for it? The punishments will extend to 10 years. That means he can be imprisonment for this offense if he is convicted for 10 years and fine, or 10 years and fine both. Now when I say fine and imprisonment, that means it depends upon how heinous the crime is, what is the nature of the crime, how often this has happened, or what injuries or what damage has been caused to the woman due to this offense. So according to it, either he may get an imprisonment of 10 years, either he may fine, or either he may be gone for both. So this is about a mock marriage. That means, we go for mock examinations, we go for mock interview before we apply, or before we actually sit for the final examination. What is the meaning of mock? Mock means something that is not real. Okay, it's completely off paced, it's temporary in nature, it's not real in nature, it's just something to help you out, so that when you get to your final stage, you know how well you are, how more efficient you need to perform. The same very way, mock marriage, here there is no marriage at all, but the man makes the woman believe that she is married to him legally, with an intention to establish sexual intercourse with her. Now, section 496 of the Indian Penal Code talks about invalid marriage. Now, what is the difference between the mock marriage and invalid marriage? Invalid marriage means they both, the female and the male, they both are gone through the rites and rituals that has to be performed in India, to constitute a legal marriage. But the rites and the rituals that they have gone through is invalid in nature. It's not valid at all. Although it may seem like it has happened, but it's not happened. Now we see in pictures, okay, we see in movies, where the bride and the bridegroom get married. So now there all the ceremonies are being performed, all the rituals are being performed, but are they really married to each other? No, we know they are not married. Otherwise every co-star will come claiming that this is my wife, this is my husband. So that doesn't happen. It's just a fake marriage. Okay, although they do the things that is needed to constitute it, but it's not real in nature. The same very way, when a man, he does the same thing. Okay, he goes through all the ritual and rites with a woman, making her believe that these ritual and rites are legal in nature, and now they are legally married. Okay, they are officially declared as husband and wife, but again they are not, because it's an invalid marriage. Yet he makes her believe, that means his mens rea, his guilty intention is to again establish sexual intercourse with her. So now that man has constituted the offense of an invalid marriage. Now what is the imprisonment term for it? The person who has been convicted for the offense can go in for 7 years. Okay, 7 years of imprisonment and fine, or imprisonment and both. Again, as I said, it depends what is the crime, how heinous it is in nature. If it is very heinous, it's caused a lot damage to the woman mentally, physically. Okay, so he can go either for imprisonment, fine, or he can even go for both. The third section that I want to talk about is section 494, that is a bigamy. Now what is the meaning of bigamy? Now I'm first two sections, that was a mock marriage and the invalid marriage, was only about the man, but now bigamy has both man and woman. Okay, I'm talking about polygamy, not polygyny and polyandry, but only polygamy, which is known also as bigamy. Now here a man and a woman, they are already married to someone else. Okay, the man has his wife already living a woman already has a husband living, okay, but yet they come out of that marriage of theirs individually with their own consent, and they get married to each other knowingly that they already have a spouse living. Neither they are being divorced, neither the spouse has been dead, yet they both come and they get married to each other. Either one person is married and one person is unmarried, or either both are married, doesn't matter, but yet they have someone living. They neither are a widow or widower, or neither they are a divorcee, but they yet get married. Now this person who get married has constituted the offense of bigamy in India under section 494 of the Indian Penal Code, okay, and they can go in again for 7 years of imprisonment. Now who can sue for bigamy? Okay, the man who has got married second time, his first wife can sue him for the offense of bigamy, or the woman who has got married second time, her first husband can sue her for the offense of bigamy. Here the husband cannot sue that man, because who is he married to officially? He has the power to sue only that person. Okay, so the first spouse can sue the spouses for the offense of bigamy, and it can become a ground for divorce also. This is the offense of bigamy. The imprisonment is of 7 years, fine, or both. Now we are talking about section 497, that is the adultery. Again, adultery has one man and one woman in it. Now here one person is married, one person is unmarried, or whether both are married, again it doesn't matter, same as bigamy. But the difference between bigamy and adultery is, bigamy is when they both get married to each other, but in adultery they don't necessarily have to be married to each other. Here the person who is married knowingly that the woman who is having sexual intercourse is with legally married to another man, she is a wife of another woman, he knows it knowingly. That means he has constituted this offense knowingly, not unknowingly. Again it becomes very heinous in nature, yet he has a sexual intercourse with her. So now that person has constituted an offense of adultery. This was penalized first in India, but now this has been struck down in Joseph Shrine versus Bombay, okay, because it was a very self-centric, very gender-centric offenses where the men's were only punished and women's were not punished at all, okay. The abettors was not considered to be a woman but only a man, because they felt in India like women are very innocent, they can be manipulated very soon, and hence women were not punished, only men were punished. So this was really very gender centric, and this had to be struck down. So now adultery is no more an offense in India, but again adultery becomes a very good ground for divorce, okay. If any person has been convicted for the offense of adultery, this becomes a ground for divorce, although there is no punishment. But previously when it was penalized, the punishment for it was the term of 5 years, fine, or either both. And now even if two person has a sexual intercourse with each other, although they are married, but what is the most important factor in, they both have to be major, okay. They should be the consenting parties to it. Both have to have consented voluntarily, not with fraudulent, not with force, okay, and not being forced by someone to do something. They have to be completely voluntarily into it, because if it is forced, then it will constitute the offense of rape, okay. So this is how we distinguish it between sexual intercourse and rape, okay. When it's forced, it comes directly into the category of rape, but here it's not forced, here it is voluntary. They are adults, they are mature, they know what they are doing, although they are married, so it doesn't need to be penalized now. So that is the offense of adultery. Now we are talking about 497, okay. Now we'll go to section 498. 498 is talking about enticing a woman away. What is the meaning of enticing a woman away? It means manipulating that woman, okay. That woman must be married to someone, okay, and she is legally wedded wife of another man. So the person, the other man who is not married to her, who wants to take her away, he may manipulate her by giving her something as a greed, showing her something like, if you want this, you'll have to come with me. So giving her a kind of a manipulation takes her away from the lawful guardianship of her husband, or any of the guardian that has been appointed by her husband, okay. Think if her husband is away for work, for any business, so he may be appointed someone on the behalf of him to take care of his wife. So the man, without the permission, okay, without permitting the husband, or taking the permission from the lawful guardianship of someone else that the husband has permitted, takes away that woman, okay, by manipulating her and giving her a greed of something, and gets married to her, or detains her in a place, or detains her in a room, okay, keeps her closed in a room, keeps her closed in a place, locked up somewhere, and has sexual course with her, sexual intercourse. Again he is committing the offense of illicit, illicit taking away a woman from the guardianship of a husband. Again that is constitutional offense, and that's a really heinous offense, and they can be punished up till 5 years, and he can also go for fine, and he can go for both. So these are all the offenses which are against the marriage. Okay, so here either both the party are married, either one party are married, or they are married to someone else, because these are all about marriages. And the last one is 498A, which is domestic violence. Okay, but now I'm not talking about domestic violence against husband, although men also go through domestic violence, no doubt, but we are not talking about domestic violence against husband. This is only for wives. Okay, so of course domestic violence is when the cruelty goes against the wife. Okay, the cruelty can be done either by the husband, can be done by the relatives of the husband, doesn't matter. Okay, both the things, together constitutes the offense of a domestic violence. Now domestic violence has a very widespread in India. First, violence was only against the body, limbs, okay, any private part of the woman. But now that's not only the case of domestic violence. Now domestic violence also includes mental torture. For example, if a man takes his wife, okay, in a party or any gathering, any social gathering, and he starts insulting her, like you're fat, you're ugly, you're worthless, you're useless. Okay, he starts degrading her, deteriorating her character. Okay, that's also a mental cruelty. Now that also constitutes the offense of domestic violence. Now this is only about going out, but this can even happen inside the four walls. Okay, I'm talking about inside four walls and outside the four walls. Okay, both constitute the offense of domestic violence, and case can be filed in this case too. Now the another domestic violence is again if the husband is not providing proper maintenance to the wife and children. Okay, as everything has gone up, prices are raised up, if husband is not giving proper money for the woman to maintain herself, to maintain the house, to maintain the children, this again constitutes an offense of domestic violence. The wife can file a case against the husband. Okay, this is a mental cruelty again to the wife, okay, to the children. And the third one is the physical contact, for sure, bashing a woman up, breaking her jaws, making her blind, okay, throwing acid on her face or anything, injuring any limbs, any body part, any private part of hers. Okay, causing any danger to her life, liberty, property, anything. Okay, this constitutes again the offense of domestic violence, and the person can be convicted for it, and the imprisonment is 5 years. It can be fined also, and he can go for imprisonment and fine both. So these are all the offenses against marriage: 493, 496, okay, 494, 497, 498, and 498A. So this is all about the Indian Penal Code, which is very well constituted and has distinguished each and every sections from each other. I have told you every point that is needed, that is essential to constitute that offense, how much term they go through, who can file the case against which person, and this is all about the Indian Penal Code. Thank you so much.